Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon. We're back with the gang, returning from AWFS 2023. Chad, Travis, Nick, how you guys doing?
Good.
Happy to be back.
Happy to be back. Yeah, I feel the same way. Kyle, he's hanging out in the corner over there still. Kyle, was it lonely without us?
Yes.
I love that he yelled from the other side of the room. We went to AWFS. We were gonna try to go live from the show, and then we found out that it was stupid busy.
Yep.
I don't think we had time to go live at the show. Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely. It would have been tough.
Yeah, would have been pretty tough at the show. What'd you do back here, Nick? Were you lonely?
Yeah, it was weird. It was really quiet. Things were so busy with half of you guys gone that it was.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Micah and Hunter were constantly on the phone talking to people.
Dude.
I was trying to help them where I could, checking through orders and stuff. But it was, nobody really left their little spot in the office for 5 days. It was just kind of crazy.
Yeah, it sounded like it was pretty chaotic and pretty crazy while we were away. What'd you guys do when you guys got back? Did you sleep?
I wanted to, but I didn't.
Oh.
I went swimming in my pool, which was awesome. Went dirt biking and put a couple 100 miles on the Harley.
Was your kid happy to see you?
I haven't seen him yet.
But you still haven't seen him?
No, so we ended up giving him to his mother for an extra week. They went out to see her mom, I guess, in Washington. So he's been in Washington
he's been on
State
vacation.
For a couple weeks. Yeah, he doesn't want nothing to do with me. I guess they got a gas four-wheeler out there. So now when I come back,
He's like, I don't really care.
yeah, he's going to want a four-wheeler now.
That's funny.
I already know it.
That's funny. Well, that's no good that you haven't seen your kid yet. But, yeah, Chad, what'd you do when you came back?
Well, I took it pretty easy, and it was my grandma's 93rd birthday. So
93.
she's getting up there, so we celebrated that milestone.
Did you have cake?
And ice cream.
Nice.
Nice.
Did you go golfing at all when you got back?
Kind of, not really.
Yeah.
I mean,
How do you kind of go golfing?
Mini golfing?
I went and then left
Oh, did you?
after 9.
Oh, chose to stop.
Yeah, I was too tired. My feet hurt, and it
Yeah.
wasn't fun. And
I can't believe you actually got up to go.
I was sick of the constant doing something. So it
Yeah.
was just like,
Although you
Oh,
golfed
no.
when you were in Vegas,
well, I swung a few times, but
played some top golf.
it was okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought Top Golf, even though it was kind of outside, would still be a little air conditioned or
Oh, I thought the same thing, to be honest.
fans or something. No, you're hanging out outside.
112 degrees.
Yeah, it was warm. Me and my wife were talking about it yesterday, and yeah, the highs were in the 115 range, and the lows were like 109. Like it never got below 109.
94 degrees when you woke up.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
like it was crazy. Like there was days that it never even got below 100. You wake up and it was above 100. It was crazy. Like we'd walk outside, and it felt like you were walking into a hairdryer, like just hot breeze. Like it was just terrible.
You know what a hairdryer feels like?
I do now.
Okay.
I do now.
I swung a golf club for the first time. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Did you hit
Especially the first few, I whiffed it pretty bad. Was I using a 4-iron? And I hit the first one like 60 yards. Then it was 63. Then it was 73. And then I got a hold of one at 160. And I was like, oh, man, I got to quit. And then I went with a driver, and that was a bad idea. I kept hitting the mat.
That's funny.
But that 160-yard one I was pretty happy with, so I should have quit then.
It's a fun game, though, right?
I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised on how exciting it was. But obviously for me, I was just whacking it into a field, basically.
Yeah.
If I had to actually be accurate at something, I think it'd be a different story.
It's in a pretty cool spot down there, though, where you can see
It was a blast.
the strip and the
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Ferris wheel and stuff, and the big ball you can probably see from there too.
Yeah,
huh?
you see it straight on.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's creepy
was-
when it turns into an eyeball.
that was crazy.
Definitely a big Top Golf. There's definitely levels to it, like
Oh yeah.
5 or
There's-
6
yeah, I think it
levels.
was at
Yeah, we were on the
least
top
4.
level. We were on the top level at level 4.
Yeah.
The hottest level.
The hottest level. Heat rises. Yeah, no, it was definitely warm where we were, but no, it was fun. We had a good time down there. Show was good. And that's where I thought today's episode we'll talk a little bit about what we introduced there at the show, and that was the new Fav3 by ShopSabre. So thought last time we talked, obviously, it was all about AWFS and going there, and obviously we attended it now, and we kind of got feedback from a lot of people, and honestly, we met a lot of you. It was pretty cool to hear from how many people listened to the show and, obviously participate in it. And, it was kind of great to be able to show off American Made. I mean, I think that was my favorite part about the whole show was being able to show people what American Made really looks like, and hearing the feedback from not only our customers but potential buyers, people who came there to see our product, who were considering us and other brands, and how quickly seeing the machine helped them make their decision. And like I said, we're going to be releasing a new video actually this week. Kyle's just finishing it, and it'll be showing off what American Made looks like. We have a new video that we'll be debuting here that's going to show off a lot of what we do and who we are. But that said, like I said, at the show, we were really proud of the release of the IS and the Pro Series model designs changes, and obviously, like I said, more importantly, that Fav3 tool changer. There's been a lot of talk over that over the years. So, for over a year we've been engineering this and designing it, right? And we finally got to release it and show people what we've been working on. But what do you guys think of that new Fav3 now that you guys have spent a week with it, and seen so many people view it?
I really didn't realize how big of a game changer it was going to be. Once you start talking to the cabinet guys, obviously they know what they need more than I do sometimes. So I learned a lot there. I personally also thought it was amazing to see like a handful of customers that had absolutely no want or need to buy a machine and ended up buying a machine.
Yeah.
They were coming there for something completely different, and they left with the ShopSabre.
Yeah.
Or at least they're going to get one here in the near future.
Yeah, we had a lot of people that showed up that were buying something else. They showed up to buy a sliding, panel saw, or they, whatever they were there to buy that wasn't a CNC automation. And then after seeing what the automation can do for their business, they realized, forget the saw. This is the way to go. That was my favorite part too, is seeing how many shops still were thinking that panel saw was the answer, and now realized after seeing how efficient and how affordable these machines really can be, that it's a no-brainer. Just forget the saw, go buy a CNC.
I got more excited seeing people get excited about it.
Yeah.
I kind of saw it and didn't really think much of it, like 3 extra positions. And then after talking to everybody and seeing everybody and the gradual excitement of people throughout the week really got me excited.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they think about it the way you did. Oh, it's just 3 extra tools, right? That's what everybody thinks when they hear the Fav3, because basically for anybody who's listening and hasn't seen what this is about, we do have some videos out on our social media and whatnot, and we'll have some more videos coming on YouTube very soon. But the Fav3, Fav stands for favorite, and 3, of course, is 3 tools. So it's your favorite 3 tools that are up on the gantry. And so you have 3 tools there plus the 12 that we offer in the back. So it gives you 15 tools on your machine. So for a lot of people, it's like, oh, cool, you got 3 more tools. But the reality is that's only part of the equation, because what people don't realize is that it's really a game changer is what I think. When you start thinking about it, we heard from the customers who always say they need more tools, right? So 3 more tools is great. And really we answered that, hey, I need more tools. Okay, we answered. We got you that. But we also hear from clients who say they need, to be able to do faster tool changes because their production requires it. Now, not everybody's speed orientated. There's a lot of customers that flat out said they don't need a faster machine. They don't need to do more in a day because the machine's already sitting around. But we answered it for the people who said they need more. And, we heard the customers who said they want the dust stock still. So we answered there too, because we didn't get rid of the dust stock. We still offer the dust stock. In fact, we have now partnered with Nick Frost in the Frost CNC dust skirt, which comes with the Fav3 now. So we have partnered with a few different people now. So we still have the dust stock and all of its, greatness, and people love that, for when they want the cleanest machine possible. Like at the end of the day, the dust stock is still the cleanest solution. We proved that. We walked around the show. We've seen a lot of other machines cutting. There's a lot of messes being created by a lot of machines. And a lot of expensive machines making big messes. But our machine, I feel like, easily is the cleanest machine in the market. Do you guys agree with that?
Hands down.
Hands down, definitely. After watching some of the live cutting next to us, I wouldn't want to clean up after their machines.
Yeah, they're running over there with a broom and a big bucket and a shovel.
And it's crazy because people are paying $150,000 for those machines.
Yep.
And they're having to clean up after them, and they're making, I thought it was funny because you watch some of these big machines and they have these big loaders and unloaders because everybody thinks they need a loader unloader. And then they're using just as much labor cleaning up after the machine and, cleaning off the loader unloader table. And the machine was no faster. When we timed it against the machine we had sitting there without a loader unloader, they were getting through sheets just as fast as we were.
Yep.
Because they had to have people there still doing things to clean off the unload table. And there were so many things going on that the machine can do certain things faster, but they're spending $175,000 to accomplish what we were doing for $60,000 to $70,000.
Correct.
And taking up a ton of space.
A ton. I mean, their booth was 3 times our size and took
huge.
every square inch of it.
That's the thing that I took away is how much space. I mean, things are huge.
Yeah. And so now, you kind of think about the Fav3, and if you're one of those guys that say every second counts, like, this is for you. This is the option that you need. And, it's one of those things where even if you're not running 24/7, right? If you're one of those shops that say, hey, I don't need every second, it's great because it still saves you in setup time. And I think that's what people are losing track of with the Fav3. It's not just about having 3 more tools, but you also have the option now where you can, set all your tools and forget them. And that's what I love about it the most.
Exactly.
As you start looking at the tool changers, right? Right now, you guys, let's say you sell them 12 tools, right? 12 tools works for the average person. But if you get into like MDF doors, or you get into dovetails or shaker doors, things like that, and you have special tools for that, well, you look at shaker doors, that's 4 tools by itself. And your cabinetry is another 3 to 4 tools by itself. Well, that's 8 of your 12 tools, and you haven't even got into dovetails or shakers yet. So as you start adding these other specialty bits, suddenly you're going to end up at 13, 14 bits, sometimes 15. And that's where guys say they want to have more space. And so the advantage to having 15 is you set all your tools once. And then once they're set, you never have to reset them up because the specialty bits are in the back and your cabinetry or your favorite tools are in front. And so you have those 3 tools up on the gantry. And so the way I look at it is you have your drill, for actually cutting your holes for your shelving. You have your compression bit, which is going to be used for cutting out all your parts. And then you have your dado tool, right? Your down shear. And so when you have those 3 tools being commonly used to create a box, you're going to use that day in and day out.
Yep.
Now you don't have to go back to the tool changer and change bits. It's right there where you're cutting. And that's what my favorite part was, is as the machine moved around, it would drill the holes and then just slide over, grab the next tool, and go back to work. You're not waiting for the machine to go to the back of the machine.
Yep.
And so you'd save, 30 to 40 seconds per sheet when you factor in all the tool changes.
Adds up over time.
It does. It adds up. And guys love that about it. So as they start to look at the Fav3 really is a game changer for them. And, obviously the dust dock, as we talked about, hands down best dust collection on the market. So if you're not a guy that's like, hey, I don't need all those special tools, like we still offer the dust dock. And it's still, to this day, there's not a dust skirt out there that's outperforming it. We watched it at the show. We have seen a lot of products try to say that they're going to save you money and time, but the reality is nothing saves you more money or time than not having to clean up.
Correct.
And a machine that can clean up after itself that says a lot. And in fact, I think it goes a long way when you have companies like Oneida, American-made dust collector manufacturer. They're coming to our booth talking about our machines and our dust collection.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, they did an interview with me, which hopefully will be coming live here soon. But yeah, they were talking about how the ShopSabre machine and the dust skirts are designed so well. And even on the Fav3, they were impressed by that Nick Frost dust skirt because it gives us still better dust collection than any other machine on the market without a docking station.
Yep.
So it's still a really good solution. And, again, no dust skirt's going to pick up as much dust continuously. And that's what I would say. Not just in certain areas of the table, but really all over the table. Whether you're fly cutting, you're drilling holes, whatever. Our dust skirts work. I mean, that's a fact. And again, when you need more speed, that Fav3 was kind of born from that. So what does Fav3 mean? As we talked about, it's favorite, right? Your favorite 3 tools. It's essentially going to give you 3 tools that go right on the gantry and slide in and out. And the nice thing about it is it does not have all the moving parts of a rotary tool changer. And that's what I think is the best part about that is that, a lot of people with rotary tool changers, they get limited. You can only have certain size tools in a rotary because the bit length is limited and obviously the diameter is limited. Well, the nice thing is your standard tools are always going to be standard. So those 3 can go up on that sliding, inserter, but your back rack can still have your large abnormal tools.
Yep.
And I think that's where, the rotaries really lose, is that the rotaries have a lot more moving parts. They have a lot more maintenance. There's a lot more cost associated with them, and you're still limited.
I didn't even think about the tooling until you mentioned that.
Yeah. What do you guys think is the best benefit of the Fav3 if you guys were to pick out one?
It's quickness.
Yeah, I'd say the speed. I mean, that's what the majority of all of our cabinet, even customers that owned our machines previously, they absolutely loved it, and it almost convinced the majority of them that they want to upgrade just because of the speed that they'll save.
Yeah, the tool changers, the tool changes are rapid, right? I mean, it's because you don't have to run to the back, as we talked about. I think that's what you guys are all referring to when you say speed.
Yep.
Like I said, your 3 most popular tools are right there. As I said, the most common ones I recommend for people putting in there is your dado tool, your shelf pin tool, and then your compression tool. That's what I put up there. But think about being like a sign maker. makes sense in those worlds too, because now you have so many other tools that you can have for plastic and foam and, you know, acrylic or whatever you're working with. But then again, your standard cutout tools and everything can be up on the front of the machine.
Right.
And I think there's just so many things, you know, again, going back to guys who are doing Braille or ADA. Think about all the tools you have associated with just that.
Right.
Now you have more capacity and still be able to cut things out. So, you know, your bread and butter daily work can be done with a lot less effort now. And, you know, it's kind of like having 3 heads on the machine because it's that much time savings. But now you're not spending the money on 3 heads and losing the space of 3 heads, you know?
Right.
I think another benefit of it is obviously more tools, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely more tools.
You got 15 tools now. That's what we were just talking about. You know, I think a lot of people like that. You know, you can, like I said, we can set up our door tools and do everything on the back of the machine. But I think the other thing is higher accuracy. That's what a lot of people don't think about too, is that your machine is only as accurate as the person setting up the machine, right? So if the operator is changing tools out manually all the time and not measuring correctly, your accuracy is going to change.
Yep.
But when you don't have to change out the tools and you let the machine measure the tools, you don't have an accuracy issue anymore. It's very consistent. And I think that's the best part about the Fav3 is that it takes out the user variables, right? Nick, what's your favorite thing about the Fav3?
I think for me, obviously you guys talk to the customers on the front end of everything, but I see a lot of customers on the back end of things and on the social media and all of those types of things, and just their excitement about, like you were talking about, the speed of which they can get to their tools for doing their jobs, and obviously having more tool positions. But I think the most excitement from what I saw over the last few days is the fact that they can just do things so much faster.
Yeah.
Yep.
We sold a lot of them. I'll say that. A lot of Fav3s.
I wonder how many Fav3s versus the other ones we did.
Oh, my God.
Did
I bet it
anybody
was
say?
probably
80,
80%.
90%.
Yeah.
You think so?
From
I
the
think
ones
so.
that I saw last
Yeah, I
week,
think it's 80-90% of people. I mean, they love that speed. But, and again, I think, you know, there was a lot of people interested in our product, and then they'd get there and saw something new, and it just was more exciting for them,
Like,
you know?
Yep.
Maybe this is a silly question, but why would you not do it?
Exactly.
I mean,
Right.
is
And
there
that's
really-
where I think, that's why I think you sold 80-90% of them, is because if I'm going to buy a machine, why wouldn't I want to have that feature?
You have 0 disadvantage.
Yeah.
even if you don't feel like you're maybe won't need it or won't use it as much,
Yeah.
it's still a benefit.
It
to
gives you
have no matter
growth,
what.
is
Yeah.
what it is. It gives you the ability to grow into the machine instead of growing out of the machine. That's what I like about it.
Yep.
You know, I think where the Fav3 makes the most sense for most is that really there's few companies out there that are as stable as we are. You know, we're building our own product, right? And thus, when you're investing in our company, it's a lot less risk to you, correct? Because you're not investing in a Chinese product or something overseas. And, you know, generally import products, I mean, they're here one day and they're gone the next. That's what happens, is a lot of these import products are scary. And that's where the Fav3 makes sense, is that it's built by us. It's not something that's going to disappear on you. I mean, it's something that's here for the long run. And so being the early adapter of it, I think it's going to change and revolutionize the industry. I think there'll be a lot of companies that are going to start copying us.
I agree.
For sure. And I
And-
mean, the fact, even with the bunch of machines we sold there, they're still going to be able to see those machines much quicker than any of our competitors.
That was what blew me away. Some
People
of the
had
competitors,
absolutely no idea how quick we could turn around a
yeah,
machine.
a lot of companies out there were advertising 6-month lead
Yep.
times.
Yikes.
And we're going to have it to them in less than 6 weeks.
Right.
Like, it just blew me away. That was the number one thing. People come up talking, you get super excited about the machine, and then they'd be like, okay, how long is it going to take you to get me one? I'm like, 2 to 4 weeks. Wait, what? They're like, that guy said he was 6 months out. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm
Right.
2 to 4 weeks. Like, but that's part of the innovation that we have, is we've been able to really align ourselves with manufacturing practices that allow us to build product in real time. We gotta operate at the speed of business, right? You can't wait 6 months when your business is dependent on a tool. And my thing I always tell customers is, if you have to wait 6 months to get the machine up front, what happens if you need parts and service? And these, I mean, because a lot of these machines, they're waiting 6 months because it's coming from overseas.
Yep.
Like with us, you're not going to have that. So, you know, again, the benefit of innovation really helps you in a lot of different ways, but we build machines to your needs. And that's where the Fav3 was born out of a need. People kept saying, I want more tools, I want more of this. So we're going to make it better. We're going to do it the right way and give you speed. We're going to give you a benefit with more tools, not just give you more tools, right?
Yep.
And, you know, obviously the Fav3 was built for higher demand, you know, and it showed itself very well. But whether the demand is higher production or, you know, needing to be able to cut more each day, whatever that is, or, you know, whether your shop just needs to be able to handle more capacity, right? More tools, things like that, versatility. But at the end of the day, the Fav3 increases cutting speed, versatility, and is obviously it's very popular among the cabinet shops, the sign shops, and the production shops. I mean, I think that's where it showed very well. And anytime speed matters, the versatility of that Fav3 is what I think is where it makes most sense. Do you guys agree?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yep.
So I guess what options exist at ShopSabre? Let's talk about that for a second here because, we now have a lot of different tool changer options, do we not?
We do.
And I think there's some confusion there. I think a lot of people are trying to understand what do we have now? And we didn't get rid of anything. Everything still exists. So we still have a manual change option. That's a nice thing is you can still buy machines for those who only need one bit and never need to change tools. Like you don't have to buy a tool changer. We offer machines with manual tool change.
Yep.
We talk about them a lot for people who just want to keep budget in mind.
We offer a machine with a 110 router.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we have even below the tool changer. We have the 110, Milwaukee router. Which is great for a guy who's going to put something in his garage or, in his home shed or whatever.
Needs everything on 110.
Yeah. Or maybe you just want to keep costs down,
When the reality is it's not just a little desktop machine, too, in 110. You could still get a 4x4 or 4x8 to cut full sheet goods if need be.
Which is awesome. I mean, when you think about that, a guy getting started,
Yep.
Start there, right? And it's still better than buying a Chinese product.
Absolutely.
Because American made, with our stuff, at least you can add the spindle later.
Correct.
on.
That's what I was just going to say.
So buy quality and add options as you go.
Yep.
The machine you buy lasts a lifetime.
Correct.
You can add accessories and options.
What's that famous thing you say about lead time?
Lead times are temporary. Quality is forever.
I had to use that on a customer at AWFS. He didn't want to wait for
2 to 4 weeks.
for that. Well, no, it wasn't our machine. It was for the edge bander.
Oh.
And he's like, well, I could just get this one now. And it's like, well, lead time's temporary. Quality's forever.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's the truth.
in
That's
2 months, you'll forget that you had to wait 2 months for this, and you'll have what you wanted.
bingo. That's the number one thing that I'm glad you said that because people are so in the now that they don't think about like in a year, are you going to remember that you had to wait 2 extra weeks?
Nope.
Nobody does.
No.
Nobody remembers that. The only thing they remember is if that machine's working now and was worth the wait.
Correct.
Have you figured out how to do it without it for the last 6 months?
Yeah.
Like, you can go another 2,
Well, I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
I mean, that's basically it, right? You've been doing this for 6 months without a machine. Another 2 weeks isn't going to hurt you on that, right? But get the right machine. Get an American-made machine rather than, oh, yeah, I can get this, import product, this way. Or like you said, at the show when we were selling certain accessories, like you said, with the edge banders. The edge banders that we sell are very good. I mean, they're a very good quality edge bander, the Sahis edge banders. But yeah, of course, there was some pop-up. I mean, I'll be honest, there were some companies at the show that I'd never even heard of.
There was a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things I've never seen or heard of before.
Yeah, I mean, not just CNC related, but just in general, product related. There's a lot of a lot of things.
Yeah, goofy looking machines.
Yeah, there was some stuff. My thing that blew me away is next to us, and I'm not going to use company names because I don't want to, talk about any other company, but there was a company in a booth next to us or near us, and it had a $60,000 price tag on this machine, and our machine was at like $65,000, and it wasn't a CNC machine. It was a hand tool designed to do one thing, and it was to insert essentially something into a cabinet, and the machine that we were selling could also do the same thing, but all these other things, and it was $5,000 difference. And it blew me away that they had interest over it. Like, people were talking to them, and I'm like, you're going to buy that machine to do one thing when you can buy a CNC automation and do hundreds of things.
Right.
That reminds me of a comment that I saw last week on, I think it was on Facebook. Somebody commented on one of our posts saying how big of a difference there was just looking at a ShopSabre machine compared to a lot of the other ones that were there. Just like in the quality you could see and like the size of it and the way it was built. So that kind of reminded me of that comment when you said that.
Well, it's my favorite thing, like, not to get off topic here, but is we were talking about customers. In fact, let's talk about that in a second. Let's finish what we were on so we don't lose track of that. But remind me of that, Nick. But, let's finish this.
I felt the same way, so we'll definitely re-bring that up.
Yeah, we'll definitely bring that. Let's finish with that. I think that'll be a good topic. But not only do we have the manual change, as we talked about in the 110, but we also have the linear auto tool changers. Obviously, we still offer them in 5 and 10 on the RC models, and we have the 6 and 12 on the Pro IS and IS. No, Pro and IS, and then we have the 10 position on the ISM. Yep. So we have a bunch of different positions, and then from a horsepower rating, we have 5, 10, and 13 horsepower.
Correct.
And we have them available in ISO or HSK. So in other words, we can sell you a tool changer with a lot of different options depending on your needs.
Yep.
Right? Most popular is the 6 or 12 position with a 5 or 10 horsepower spindle on it, right?
Yep.
But Now let's talk about some of the other things. We also offer a rotary tool changer, and it's not a standard rotary. We have bi-directional rotary tool changer, meaning it can go to the area of least travel, right, to get to the tool the fastest. So it's unique. It's on the ISM. It only comes in 10 tool positions, but that whole carousel rides along with you. So it's a really unique feature that we have. And then now we just released the Fav3, which is 15 tool positions. It's got 3 on the gantry. It basically combines the speed of a rotary tool changer riding along or a carousel riding along with the dependability and cost effectiveness of a linear tool changer.
On the IS series.
On the IS series only. So again, depending on what you're looking at, we got a couple different solutions there. And like I said, that's the thing about ShopSabre. We don't build everything the same way, cookie cutter, right? We build to your needs. So if you need speed, you need something like that, we sell you the Fav3. If you need something that's, less costly, we can sell you just a standard linear tool changer. If you don't need a tool changer, we can sell you that too.
And that's why we call people when they fill out quote requests to learn more about their business and what they're doing so we can make proper recommendations that are going to be long-term solutions for them. That's
a good point too, Chad, because think about that too. How many people never have a conversation with them?
Well, people are so used to wanting to buy stuff online and just select stuff.
Yep.
And, it's sometimes when I call some people, they seem, annoyed that, I want to ask them some questions and learn more about, their business and what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it's all for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a cookie cutter solution. We're not a Chinese machine. So we want to know what we're selling you and why we're selling you. We don't want to sell you the wrong thing.
Correct.
Especially because I'm supporting it for life. And the last thing I want is you coming up and getting angry at me.
And I think most customers hold on to our machines for 10 plus years.
Agreed.
And it's because we sell them the right way. I mean, they get exactly what they're expecting.
Well, I do, Travis.
It's funny. But at the show, that was a perfect example, though, was it not? How many people came up to you at the show and were just ranting and raving about their machine?
Everybody that owned the machine.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a customer come up to say, "Boy, this or this."
Yeah. There was no complaint. It was awesome because we really have and to be honest with you, that's what we're going for. Can you please 100% of your customers? No. The answer is no. Simple as that. I'm not going to sit here and stand up and act like we're perfect. We make mistakes. We're humans. Things don't go the way they're supposed to, and some people won't let you forget it. Some people are not going to forgive you for it. So things happen. But I feel like the large majority of our customers are really, really happy with what they purchased. And what was cool for me is we'd be selling a machine to somebody or talking to somebody, and existing customers would interject themselves in your conversation and literally talk about your machine to that, and you could just basically take a step back and be like, I guess this guy will talk for me. It was kind of cool because they'd be like, he's not lying to you. This is what's going on, blah, blah. And it's kind of cool to watch your customers sell to each other in your own booth.
Yep.
I wish that would happen here when I'm in the office talking
Exactly.
to customers and make selling machines a lot easier if I could just be like, oh, wait a second. George wants to stop on a 3-way phone call to confirm this with you.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, watching people talk and say things. But back to your point, Nick, a lot of the people and what they saw at the show, I think the one thing is, as the internet has allowed a lot of companies to portray themselves to be more than they are. Do you guys agree with that?
100%.
They even fooled me.
100.
Until I seen them in person, I'm like, that's not even a fraction of what we're selling.
110%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And let's just talk about it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room here. That was your guys' first show ever, correct?
It was.
You guys had never seen a competitor's machine in person because you've always worked out of our building.
Correct.
And if I have seen a CNC machine, it was before I knew what they were.
Yeah.
What they were being in the industry. So it was my first time as a professional seeing other equipment.
Yeah, and exactly. And I think that proves a lot because we focus more. It's one of those, we keep our eyes on our own bobber.
Yep.
We're really big on who we are, what we do, and why we do it. We're not really concerning our sales team with go learn about the competitors. We don't need to. Sell who we are, and we have a good product. But the cool thing for you was you actually saw it. And the first day of the show, I told you guys, before the show opened, I said, walk around, just get an idea of who's here, what they build, so you kind of know what you're talking about in case somebody starts asking questions. Yep. And I think you both were back within 2 hours, and you were both like, wow, we have a really good product. That was the first thing you both said.
And it's not like I ever doubted our product. I just didn't really know truly what we were up against.
Yeah.
And once you lay your eyes on it, every other customer that came and saw our booth, I told them, I said, I encourage you to go look around at what else is here. They were back within 20, 30 minutes every time.
Well, I think the thing about that is you give more credit. And I think a lot of people do.
Yep.
We know how good we are and what we're doing.
Yep.
We give credit to our competition that isn't deserved. We are expecting them to be doing the same thing we are,
Yep.
right? You just give them we're doing it, so why wouldn't they? and then you see what they're doing, and you're like, oh my God, they're not. They really don't. How many times did you see where the customers openly told you that the competitors just didn't even care about them?
A few of them said that they never even got a chance to talk to them, and their booths weren't even that busy, so I don't know what they were doing.
Or they just wanted to get out of the booth as quick as possible.
Yeah, we had a competitor walk up to Chad and told Chad he was leaving early, and Chad could have all the customers. So that was pretty comical. But it's the truth. Like, a lot of them, they don't take the pride that we do.
No.
You know, at the end of the day, like, there's not a pride in their job. It's just a job. And if they make enough commission off of it, they don't really care to push, right? Where with us, we're all about solving the customer, right? Solving their needs, solving their problems, helping them with things that they need. And I mean, the thing that I thought was funny is how many machine distributors and whatnot were walking around our booth, watching our machines run and do things and asking questions about our product that really sell against us, right? And they were trying to like learn as much. And I thought it was funny because it's like we do a lot of what we do to make sure that our customers have the information they need. But it's funny how many, times that you give credit to other companies out there that just simply weren't deserved.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I would say to anybody listening is my takeaway is if you have not seen a ShopSabre in person, you need to.
Absolutely.
ShopSabre.com. You can go out there, request a quote. You can watch all of our videos and everything, but really nothing beats standing in front of a machine. Come to ShopSabre's facility. Yeah, come to our facility. We'll be happy to get you here, let you look at the machine, let you go through the motions. Obviously for us, it's really big for us to have you see it. I encourage anybody, if you're looking at us and a competitor, look at both machines in person. I think you will find how much more attention to detail goes into our machines. It's the little things that we do that try to, make the machine a complete package. It's not just doing what's expected of us, but it's doing the things that sometimes are unexpected of us.
And then when you look at what we consider our production level machines compared to what they consider their production level machines, it's like this isn't even in the same class at all.
Yeah, we had a customer that came out to us in the booth that I thought was pretty fun, but he was talking about our machine. He was watching it move, and he's like, man, that thing's moving fast. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's actually the cut speed. I'm like, it actually goes faster than that. This is just because it's cutting. And he's like, oh, that makes sense. And he goes, how fast is that thing going? And I said, it's 800 inches a minute right now. And he said, wow. And he goes, is that single pass? I said, yep, single pass. So we were talking about that a little bit. And then he said, with my blank machine, I'm not going to talk about the competitor's name, but it's a very reputable machine that we compete against a lot. He said,
so we do some rhyming associations?
I'm not going to do that. But anyways, they have their machine that would compare in price to our machine. He said that he can only cut at 300 inches a minute full pass. Anything over that, it doesn't cut well. And he said even at that, sometimes his circles are a 16th out of round.
Yikes.
It's crazy.
And I think, Chad, you were standing there for that one, right?
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
I remember you telling the story too.
Yeah, and it just blew me away that like they couldn't do what they're expecting the machine, like our machine, to perform like the one he had already. And it was just, it's proof that spending the same amount of money on an import product does not give you the same results. You are still going to be giving something up somewhere.
Yep.
And I thought that was fun, watching how many people said they'd go, like you said, Travis, they'd leave our booth, go to somebody else's booth, and they'd come back to us like, I couldn't get out of that booth fast enough to come back to you guys. Like, they wanted to get back and get their order placed before they ended up too far down line. And I guess my point of all of this is, I'm bragging, right? I'm going to brag a little bit because that's who we are. And, honestly, I'm proud of who we are. But the Fav3 really changed it for a lot of people, and this redesign really changed it for a lot of people. And we do a lot of things that our competition simply doesn't offer. And now maybe they will offer it in the near future because they saw ShopSabre do it, so now they got to try to catch back up. But, I think it says a lot that we are the innovators and we really push the limits and we're always thinking ahead. And how many people were asking for more tool positions a year ago? We didn't just go out and build a bigger tool rack and then send it to you and that be the answer. We found if we're going to do it, what's the best way to achieve it and give us the best value to the customer?
Yep.
And so for me, I think we need to remember that the year end's coming, right? We're already in August.
It sucks.
Brianna's kids went back to school today.
I know, isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, what's at the end? Isn't the fair at the end of this month?
State Fair this month.
It's coming up.
Yep, end of the month.
October, it starts getting a little chilly.
Yeah.
November,
In September
we
it
could
gets
have snow.
chilly in September sometimes. Like we're there.
4.5 months till Christmas.
Yep.
No, that sucks.
I hope we get as much snow as we did last year.
But
I hope we don't.
the point of what I'm saying is, as it dawns on you that you're in August, and the end of the year is here, like that means tax season's around the corner.
Yep.
And if you don't start doing something now, you're gonna regret it. Like you got to start looking at CNC machines right now. If you're buying something for the year end, like now is the time to start looking. Start investigating what you're doing, because before long it's gonna be the end of the year and you're gonna be out of time, and now all your competitors are gonna be buying stuff, and you're gonna be still sitting there scratching your head how they got ahead of you.
Especially if you're in your slower time of the year right now, this is the best time to integrate a CNC so you can take the time, learn it, and then when you get into your busy season, you're ready to just hit the ground running.
And that's a good point. I think a lot of people have gotten to the point where it's like, oh, it's a little slow right now or whatever. Like I'm not going to. Why wouldn't you do it now? Why are you going to wait till you're so stinking busy that you can't even take the time to install it and learn the machine?
Especially since we have such good financing in place too for customers. You don't even have to put money down on some of these machines.
Yeah.
And very minimal for those who do. So definitely worth looking at that as well.
I would stop waiting because your competitors aren't. I don't know if we tallied how many orders we got, but it was well over 20. And
yeah,
those are cabinet guys buying for the businesses.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We sold a lot of machines at the show, and that's in 4 days. 4 days.
That's
like
insane.
you think about how many machines are sold in 4 days. And we're not talking like a long period of time. 4 days, we sold a lot of machines to a lot of cabinet makers. And if you're one of the shops that still are doing it the old school way, like you're gonna get beat. Your competitors are going to start stealing work from you because eventually they're going to be able to undercut your price and still make more money because their machine is creating efficiency, especially with the Fav3. Now they can do more in less time, so they're just making more money than you are.
If nothing else, just give us the opportunity to educate you on how this machine is going to revolutionize your business.
ShopSabre.com.
And like we said earlier, we have a solution for every budget essentially.
Right.
Yeah, that's my favorite part about the financing. Like, obviously we had our financing company there at the show, and how many people came up to us and said like, "Oh, I'm worried about my financing. Oh, I don't know if I can get qualified." And not one person, I believe, didn't get qualified. I think we got every single person qualified at the show,
so.
and I mean that's everything from A to D credit.
Yep.
Like you didn't have to have perfect credit to get into a new machine. Like those days, well, at least maybe for some companies they still exist, but for us, those days are long gone. Like we partner with financing companies that can take care of you. Like we know that you're a business owner and sometimes you have to make uncomfortable decisions. And then some of those uncomfortable decisions is you didn't make a payment one time on something because you had to keep your business afloat. We get it. Like we're all business owners too. And so our financing is in place to be able to take care of you and to make sure that you can keep running your business and doing what you can and you're not putting yourself in a bad spot.
And there's nothing to lose by trying to get approved with the financing. Like the one customer we had, again, wasn't even planning on buying a machine at the show, just bought a brand new truck, thought his credit was garbage. I told him, I said, man, what do you have to lose? He got approved. He ended up ordering the machine same day, and customer's happy as could be.
He probably paid more for his pickup truck.
I was just
He did. He did.
I was just going to say that. Like we used to compare buying a machine to a pickup truck, but it's not anymore. Like it's cheaper than buying a pickup truck now.
After we talked about that one breakfast or the one morning meeting or whatever, it was something I said the rest of the week. I mean, because it's so true. It's people are paying more for pickup trucks than they are for CNC machines that they can, bring in more income with.
Yeah, I mean, pickup trucks are what, 90 to 100 grand now?
Pickup trucks now are the cost of what I paid for my first house.
They'll haul your cabinets, but they're not going to build them for you.
Yeah, and that's that good. Like you're hiring a guy. That was my favorite thing to show people how fast these machines produce things. We had a gentleman and his wife that were there, and they were doing it kind of old school, if you will. And he was talking to me about like building cabinets, and he was telling me it takes him a full day to build, a certain thing that he builds. And we ran the simulation, and what he was doing in a day, the machine was doing in under an hour.
It's crazy.
And like it dawned on him in that moment. He's like, wow. He's like, I could get the whole job done in one day versus waiting the whole week to get it done.
Yep.
He's like, I could install that stuff. And then his wife was like, we need to buy this. Like, because they're so backed up. She's like, they're 9 months back and they're turning work away right now because they're so backed up that they don't want to take on more jobs and then, have a bad reputation. So they're so in tune with their own reputation that they were just like, I'm not going to take on more work until I can get some of the work already out the door.
Yep.
And she's like, I can design it all. Like she's been designing, but she's like, we just can't build it fast enough. And she's like, we've tried hiring people. We can't hire people. Like there's too many issues out there with labor. And this is like hiring an employee. And the cost was, I think what they ended up with was like mid 60s, right? She's like, that's like hiring one employee for 1 year.
And now they can do all them jobs way faster and not turn business away.
Correct.
And
And
do
yeah,
that
she
many
said
more
that.
jobs a year.
She's like, at the end of the year, hiring an employee wasn't going to make up the difference in time. Like, she goes, we could double our staff right now. It was her and her husband. And she's like, we could double our staff right now, and we still will be behind at the end of the year. She's like, but a CNC machine literally will increase production. She's like, I could see it. Like, the numbers aren't fake. Like, I could see the numbers. We ran the simulation. Like, what's going to take us a day, we can do in about an hour.
Yep.
So she's like, we are going to start making up time. And she was excited to be able to get to the point where at the end of the year, they're maybe not drowning as bad in work. You know, she's like, I want to be able to enjoy time with family. And we had, what was it? Who stopped by, Chad? Was it George? Is that right? Yeah, George. George stopped by. And it was kind of cool to meet him and his wife, because they're the ones who called us last December and told us, like, I'm going to spend Christmas with my family for the first time ever.
Correct.
And like, they were there in person. We actually did an interview with him. He's on our social media. So anybody who's tuning in, if you want to watch it, we did some interviews at
Those
AWFS.
were really good. Those were really good.
Yeah, it was fun. They were just on the fly, like no plan. They'd walk into our booth, start talking to us. I'm like, you want to talk on camera? And they're like, let's do it. Like, it was so much fun because I would just mic them up there on the spot, and we just did it. Some of it you can tell it's kind of on the fly. It's I didn't even know what I was gonna say half the time. So
Those usually go over better than the ones that you can tell are scripted, though, because you can tell people are just being real.
yeah, well, that's the thing. I wanted real people. I don't want to tell them to say something like, tell me what you think. And it was on the spot in the middle of the booth. Like, it was fun. Like I said, we're gonna do a lot more of that in the future here. But that was really good. I mean, Jose flew out for the day, and it was one day he was there, and we just recorded stuff for that day. So
That was a lot of fun.
no, I had a lot of fun at AWFS. We're excited. We're going to be going to PRI in December, so we'll be at that show. It's going to be more for our metalworking customers. We'll be there with Langmuir, so we'll be showing off some of the Langmuir products. And then next year, I think the plan is going to be IWF, right, guys?
Absolutely.
That Atlanta.
Yeah, the Atlanta show. You guys are ready to hit that ground running, aren't you?
Looking for that. Yeah, well, you said it's like 3 times bigger.
It's a huge show. That thing's
It's-
massive.
I took a look at the spots. It's massive.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
But
Hopefully not as hot.
it's Atlanta in the middle of
More
August.
humid, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully not as much traffic. Hopefully not as many closed roads. Besides that,
How can I let you down more? It's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, and there's going to be more traffic.
is it harder to? It can't be harder than to travel in Vegas with roads closed.
Well,
not.
Vegas with roads closed was the first time I've ever. This was the worst experience in Vegas. I will say that. Like, 1-lane traffic in Vegas on the Strip is miserable.
Jeez.
Miserable.
We left at the same time to go get dinner one night, and they got there like a half hour before us.
40 minutes actually.
We had to make like 4 U-turns.
Yeah, it really came down to how good your Uber
Yeah.
or your taxi was,
Yeah.
because you would get in the taxi or Uber, and I would tell them, "We got to go to this place. Please take the back roads." And they're like, "No problem." And they would zip around, and like, we get some. I got lucky several times, but I get a bunch of them. They would like get us there fairly quickly. Unfortunately, excuse me. Unfortunately, Chad and Travis weren't as lucky, because we had 9 of us, right?
Yeah, I forget who was all with us.
Yeah, it was like 9 of us.
Ben,
Yeah, there was 9 of
Bob,
us though, so we
maybe.
couldn't take one vehicle. That's why we had to take 2. And yeah, they didn't get as lucky. Literally, they pulled up at the same time. We were all getting in the cars at the same time. When I got in, I told them to take the back roads. Their guy didn't take the back roads.
Yikes.
Took them 40 minutes to get to dinner.
Probably could have walked faster.
There was many times you
We,
could.
we could
Yeah,
have,
we
Yeah.
could have.
There's
But it
no-
was so hot.
but I
well-
wasn't doing that either.
It was so hot.
there was a scenario one morning we got there. It was so bad. The traffic was so bad sometimes that the taxis and the Ubers just weren't showing up. So we got out from breakfast. We were running late because the breakfast was backed up. So by the time we got out of breakfast, we had like 25 minutes to be the show. Mind you, we are a 3-minute car ride from the show, right? Shouldn't be a big deal. We get out there, there's no taxi. No taxis, no Uber. So we call the Uber. The Uber cancels on us. We scheduled an Uber. It waited like 5 minutes and they just canceled. Like, nope, traffic's too bad. So we realized, like, now we got like 15 minutes to be the show, and we're like, we might not make, like, I'm not gonna have ShopSabre's booth not be open. So me and Cody start walking. We took off walking. It's like a probably 20 minute walk.
Yep.
And we got like 15, 20 minutes till the show opens. So we're like, we better start walking now. So at least we're walking at the right time. These guys ended up finding a cab. The cab ended up showing up. Was a cab or Uber or whatever, showed up. I don't know how many minutes after we had left. But the traffic was so bad, we only lost them by, 5 minutes?
Yeah, we waved at you when we went by in the nice air-conditioned vehicle.
Yeah.
It wasn't much.
But yeah, say it wasn't long. Like,
No,
we were
it was-
what 5 minutes behind you guys.
It was like almost you guys basically were right there with us.
Yeah, that's how bad traffic was.
If it wasn't for that and getting to places quicker, it would have been a little more.
Yeah, I think if it
for
was
sure.
any normal year,
Yeah.
you probably would have enjoyed it more. But it was what everybody doesn't realize who's listening is the F1 racing circuit is coming to Vegas, and they're going to race on the Strip in October. So they're doing all of the maintenance right now to get the roads ready and prepared for it. So yeah, they're like literally shutting down 2 and 3 lanes at a time. Not one lane, like 3 out of the 4 lanes are
What
shut
a
down.
bad idea.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
it was.
Just
It was insane.
I've never heard so many horns in my life.
Oh, they were everywhere.
Dude, it was literally consistent horns the whole time, and like taxi drivers are sticking their head out the window, yelling at each other. Like, it was comical. I'll tell you that much. It was
Yeah.
quite amusing.
I stopped looking out the windows because they kept turning into each other's lanes and cutting
Yeah.
each other off.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I can't believe we were
So,
never in an accident.
I'm gonna keep my head down. And if we get hit, I just won't brace for it, and I'll probably be better off because of it.
Yeah, there was many times I thought we were getting in an accident, like cars cutting each other off. Like,
wow.
it was nuts. But hey,
And then the fact Ubers have to park like 3 miles away
Yeah.
from front doors.
Chad found that out the hard way.
Yep.
Because taxi cabs get the front doors and Ubers have to come in the back or something.
Yeah, I told them when they got there, I'm like, guys, when you land, get in a taxi, take a taxi to the convention center. Well, they got out and Travis told me they went left instead of right to the taxi stand. So they went out to where Ubers were. They had to walk all the way to where the cabs were, or where the rental cars were. They ended up getting an Uber, and then the Uber dropped him off in the back of the building.
Oh, God.
So like, yeah, so he had all this extra walking when like we got in a taxi right outside the door, drove to the convention center, and got out at the front door.
That's a bummer.
So Ubers they're great because you can order them on your phone, but they definitely are at a
Not
disadvantage down in
exactly the
Vegas.
best spot to drop off.
I learned a lot
Cabs
about
are
city
better.
living for sure. I like the country.
Well, we checked out Fremont Street on, is it Monday night?
Yeah. No, I at least got to go see most of it. I wish we would have
Some
been able
of
to
the crazy.
do the,
Yeah.
yeah. I wish we would have been able to do the Tesla tunnel. That would have been kind of cool. But
Yeah, bummed
there
we
just
didn't
wasn't
do it.
enough time in
Yeah,
it.
we were so slammed at
Yeah.
the show, and then we'd get done with the show, go do dinner, and these guys worked till 11 o'clock every night.
Yeah.
11 o'clock every night. I mean, they were everybody listening. These guys were taking care of you truly on their own time. They're 11 o'clock at night trying to make sure you got what you needed.
18 hours on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Then
So what-
back up at 6 a.m. the next morning for the show again.
So what it sounds like is when I win the billion and the Mega Millions tonight, we'll go to Vegas after the F1 race so you can experience.
If you
real
win
Vegas.
billions, we're going during the F1 race.
Yeah, absolutely.
To the F1
I-
race.
Yeah, we're going
I
to
vote-
the
go.
I vote for after. You guys can go to that. I'll come down after.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I looked up hotels. I just asked the guy there. I was like, "How much is a hotel room
gosh.
during F1?" Guess how much it is per night?
Probably 1,500. Not even close.
$7,000
What?
for one
my
night
God.
on the F1 night. $7,000 for the room. Isn't that crazy?
Is that what the ticket to get to the?
No, that's just the hotel.
That's
The hotel
Jeez.
room.
Oh boy.
$7,000 to stay one night, which is the F1 night.
I'll sleep outside under an escalator.
That's what I said.
I didn't realize how many people
You'll probably
had
have
that.
guests.
Well, didn't you say like at our hotel like the cheapest table is like $1,500
For what?
to like gamble,
Oh yeah, it was.
and the tables were loaded. I mean, I
Yeah.
couldn't believe the amount of people
Yeah.
wearing $800-900 shirts.
yeah, there's some minimums at some of those casinos that are a little aggressive. So that's definitely for sure. But
I did not gamble a penny.
I didn't either.
it's good when you go to Vegas and not gamble.
I thought that was good.
Yeah, that's really good. But with that,
I also didn't win.
he didn't win anything. Yeah. No, that's true. I actually did win. You won.
I won all the money I
You
went
left
there
with
with.
everything you came with.
You win. If you leave without gambling, you win.
Yep.
So you pulled something off there. But no, with that, like I said, I think we'll get back at it. But if you want to check out the new Fav3, make sure you go to our website, ShopSabre.com. Make sure you submit a quote request. These guys will be happy to get you a quote on the new machine. Obviously, we got some new videos and some exciting stuff coming. What else we got going on? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Kyle and Jose are working on great content for the social media channels: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok,
Twitter doesn't exist anymore.
X.
It's called X now.
X by Twitter. Twitter
Oh.
by
We had the new Meet the Team with Dan.
Dan is live. Dan the man.
Dan the
Oh,
man.
man.
Yep. Yeah, Twitter changed their name. It's
That's right,
X.
it did. It was weird when
When
I
did that
updated on my
happen?
phone and all of a sudden there was
This
this
week.
black.
That's what
icon
I was
with
trying to figure out
X.
what
I'm
it was.
like, What is this?
I'm like, what is this app?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I still don't even know what Twitter is, so I'm behind.
MySpace has kept their name though, Chad.
Perfect.
Still MySpace.
Perfect. I have that app like I have the Twitter app.
But with that, I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
I'm Travis.
I'm Nick.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.